4 men are dead and 9 others are injured after a series of shootings in Macon over the weekend. Here's what we know so far. 8 shootings were reported from early Saturday morning through late Sunday afternoon. In total, 13 people were shot, 3 of them minors, 1 as young as 7 years old. But first and foremost, officials say these incidents appear to be unrelated to each other. The Bibb Sheriff's Office is investigating these cases, starting with one that happened early Saturday morning. This timeline shows where these incidents happened and exactly when, starting at 12:30 Saturday morning on Sharon Drive, where a man attempted to break into his estranged wife's home. He was shot. His injuries were non-life-threatening, but he was arrested and charged with criminal damage to property and family violence battery. Now, that is the only case so far where an arrest was made and charges were filed. But later that day at around 7 p.m. on Florence Avenue, 35-year-old Chavis Adams was shot and killed and later pronounced dead at Atrium Health Navicent. That investigation is ongoing. And just minutes later that same night at around 7:24 p.m., a 17-year-old was shot while walking down the 1600 block of North Atwood Drive. He was transported to the hospital by personal vehicle. He is in stable condition. Later that night, 3 people were injured when shots were fired into a home on the 700 block of Key Street. A 7-year-old boy, an 18-year-old man, and a 24-year-old man were all shot and injured. All 3 were hospitalized, but fortunately, they are in stable condition. Now we're into Sunday. A 17-year-old boy was injured at around 1:29 a.m. after shots were fired into a home on the 1200 block of Holt Avenue. He was hospitalized, but he remains in stable condition. Now on Sunday at 3:35 a.m., 3 men were found dead on Mosley Avenue near the intersection of Cedar Avenue. The victims were later identified as 25-year-old Charleston Burnett, 25-year-old Jordan Gardner, and 26-year-old Willie Kane. They say all 3 victims were shot at this location and pronounced dead on scene. The Bibb Sheriff's Office is investigating. Now, the final 2 separate shootings involve women being in cars while shots are being fired into their vehicles. At 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, 2 women were injured when someone fired shots into their car when they were attempting to pass another vehicle on the intersection of Bloomfield Drive and Williamson Road. The women are in stable condition. Sunday afternoon, a 55-year-old woman was injured when someone fired shots into her car on the 1300 block of Dewey Street. She was taken to a local hospital by ambulance, but she remains in stable condition tonight. And we reached out to Mayor Lester Miller in the Sheriff's Office for insight into these ongoing investigations and this series of incidents over the weekend. Mayor Lester Miller sending us a statement today saying in part, "Our hearts are breaking and our souls are crying out today alongside too many people. The tragedies and violence this weekend and past week are enough to make the strongest person mourn and cry." He goes on to say, "Today, support the people and the families directly impacted. And if you know of someone struggling, the people and organizations are out there that can help. If you know of criminal activity or activity that could lead to violence," he says, to contact the authorities before it becomes violent. He finishes out by saying, "We must each do our part to end this violence and continue making our community safer." Sheriff David Davis also sending us a statement tonight saying these incidents have shocked our community. Sheriff's Office deputies and investigators are working relentlessly to bring justice to each victim. And he goes on to say, "Let me be clear, this violence in our community will not be tolerated. We are committed to identifying those responsible and holding them accountable. At the same time, real change requires all of us."